On May 30th, 2025, the world bid farewell to Loretta Swit, the indomitable actress and activist beloved for her role as Major Margaret Hot Lips Houlihan on MASH. Loretta died peacefully at her home in New York at the age of 87, leaving behind a rich legacy that spanned television, philanthropy, and advocacy. Behind Loretta Swit's iconic work lays a deeply personal tragedy that shaped every aspect of her career and life. Few understood the profound loss that drove her relentless pursuit of excellence and her unwavering compassion for others. The tragedy that defined Loretta's journey wasn't a Hollywood scandal or career setback. It was the heartbreaking loss of her beloved mother, Nellie Swit, to cancer, before Loretta achieved the fame that would have made her mother so proud. This devastating loss became the invisible force behind every performance, every award, and every act of kindness that defined Loretta's remarkable life.
Hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more untold Hollywood history content.
The foundation of love and loss. Loretta Swit's relationship with her mother, Nellie, formed the emotional foundation of everything she would later accomplish in her career. Born to Polish immigrant parents in Passaic, New Jersey, Loretta grew up in a household where her mother served as her first audience, biggest supporter, and most trusted advisor throughout her early struggles in show business. Nellie Swit possessed an unwavering belief in her daughter's talent that sustained Loretta through years of rejection and disappointment in New York's competitive theater scene. When other family members questioned Loretta's decision to pursue acting instead of a more traditional career, Nellie stood firmly behind her daughter's dreams, often sacrificing her own comfort to support Loretta's ambitions. The bond between mother and daughter extended beyond typical family support to encompass a deep artistic understanding. Nellie had her own appreciation for the arts and recognized the special spark in Loretta that would eventually captivate millions of television viewers. She attended every local theater production, every audition she could, and celebrated every small victory along Loretta's difficult path to success. Nellie's influence shaped Loretta's approach to her craft in fundamental ways. The values of hard work, perseverance, and treating others with dignity that Nellie instilled became hallmarks of Loretta's professional behavior throughout her career. These lessons would prove invaluable when Loretta later fought for better representation of women on television. The close relationship also meant that Nellie's approval and pride mattered more to Loretta than any critic's review or industry recognition. Every role Loretta took, every performance she gave, was partly motivated by her desire to make her mother proud and justify the faith Nellie had shown in her daughter's abilities. The devastating diagnosis and battle. The tragedy that would reshape Loretta's life began with Nellie's cancer diagnosis, which came at a time when Loretta's career was finally gaining momentum, but before she had achieved the breakthrough success that would make her a household name. The timing of this devastating news created a cruel irony that would haunt Loretta for the rest of her life. Nellie faced her illness with the same strength and dignity that she had taught her daughter to display in her professional life. Even as her health declined, she continued to encourage Loretta's career pursuits and maintained her unwavering belief in her daughter's eventual success. This grace under pressure became a model for how Loretta would later handle the challenges of her own career. The financial strain of Nellie's medical treatment added another layer of stress to an already heartbreaking situation. Loretta, still struggling to establish herself as an actress, found herself torn between pursuing career opportunities and spending time with her ailing mother. The guilt of having to work while her mother suffered would later influence Loretta's approach to balancing career and personal relationships. Nellie's battle with cancer also exposed Loretta to the realities of suffering and loss that would later inform her most powerful performances on MASH. The experience of watching someone she loved fight against impossible odds gave Loretta a deep understanding of human resilience and vulnerability that she would draw upon throughout her acting career. As Nellie's condition worsened, Loretta faced the heartbreaking reality that her mother might not live to see her achieve the success they had both worked toward for so many years. This knowledge added urgency to Loretta's career pursuits, while simultaneously making professional achievements feel hollow without her mother there to share them. The loss that changed everything. Nellie Swit passed away before Loretta landed the role that would define her career and make her famous around the world. This timing created a profound sense of incompleteness that influenced every subsequent achievement in Loretta's life, as she carried the weight of knowing her biggest supporter would never see her greatest triumphs. The immediate aftermath of Nellie's death left Loretta emotionally devastated, but also more determined than ever to succeed. She channeled her grief into her work, using the pain of loss as fuel for increasingly powerful performances. This transformation of personal tragedy into artistic strength became a defining characteristic of Loretta's approach to her craft. Loretta often spoke about feeling her mother's presence during important moments in her career, particularly during her audition for MASH and throughout the show's run. She developed a habit of dedicating her performances to Nellie's memory, creating a spiritual connection that helped her cope with the loss while honoring her mother's influence on her life. The guilt of achieving success without her mother there to witness it became a driving force in Loretta's career. She felt compelled to work harder, achieve more, and use her platform more meaningfully because she was living not just her own dreams, but also fulfilling the hopes that Nellie had invested in her daughter's future. This loss also shaped Loretta's relationships with other people throughout her career. She became known for her kindness to struggling actors, her mentorship of younger performers, and her willingness to fight for others who couldn't fight for themselves. These behaviors reflected her understanding of how much support and encouragement could mean to someone pursuing difficult dreams, channeling grief into greatness. Loretta's portrayal of Major Margaret Houlihan was deeply influenced by the loss of her mother and the lessons she had learned about strength, compassion, and resilience during Nellie's illness. The authenticity that audiences sensed in her performance came partly from her real-world experience with loss and the healthcare professionals who had cared for her mother. The emotional depth that Loretta brought to Margaret's character, particularly in the show's more serious moments dealing with death and loss, drew directly from her personal experience with grief. She understood the weight of losing someone important and could convey that understanding in ways that resonated powerfully with viewers who had experienced similar losses. Loretta's fight to transform Margaret from a one-dimensional stereotype into a complex, respected character was also influenced by her desire to honor her mother's memory. She wanted to create a character that Nellie would have been proud of, someone who represented the strength and dignity that her mother had displayed throughout her life and illness. The compassion that became a hallmark of Loretta's portrayal of Margaret reflected the care and empathy she had witnessed from healthcare workers during her mother's treatment. She brought a realistic understanding of medical professionals' dedication and humanity to her role, making Margaret more authentic and relatable to audiences. The legacy of love and loss.
Hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more untold Hollywood history content.
Throughout her career, Loretta carried her mother's memory as both inspiration and responsibility. Every award she won, every milestone she achieved, was dedicated to the woman who had believed in her dreams when no one else would. This connection between personal loss and professional triumph became the defining characteristic of Loretta's approach to fame and success. Loretta's humanitarian work, particularly her dedication to animal welfare and charitable causes, reflected the compassion and service-oriented values that Nellie had instilled in her daughter. She used her platform not just for personal gain, but to make the kind of positive difference in the world that would have made her mother proud. The financial success that came with MASH's popularity allowed Loretta to honor her mother's memory in tangible ways. She supported causes related to cancer research and patient care, turning her personal tragedy into a force for helping others facing similar challenges. This transformation of grief into service became a powerful example of how personal loss can inspire positive action. Loretta's approach to mentoring younger actors and supporting struggling performers was also influenced by her understanding of how much encouragement and support could mean to someone pursuing difficult dreams. She became the kind of supporter for others that her mother had been for her, creating a legacy of nurturing that extended far beyond her own career. What aspect of Loretta's story touched you most? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to like this video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more inspiring stories. Thanks for watching.